Cari amici di LongTake, è davvero un grande piacere e un grande onore avere un ospite a cui noi teniamo tantissimo, Todd Solondz, uno dei nostri registi preferiti, regista che ha aperto il primo festival di LongTake, il LongTake Interactive Film Festival con Wiener Dog, finché ha anche vinto con l'edizione del nostro festival. Todd Solondz è uno dei più grandi registi americani del cinema indipendente degli ultimi decenni e questa intervista è davvero un grandissimo onore per tutti noi. Benvenuto Todd, benvenuto da parte di tutta la redazione di LongTake. Welcome Todd.
Thank you. Grazie.
How are you?
I'm here. I'm as I say, I am alive, surviving, and that's an achievement now.
Dato che il tuo cinema è stato spesso pieno di riferimenti politici, ci daresti un commento sulle recenti elezioni americane?
I don't know that I have any particular insight. I think, in fact, there was an Italian who Beppe Severgnini, something like that, who wrote something in the Times today about, I suppose, giving advice to Americans on how to deal with this phenomenon of our president. It does seem he lost, like many presidents lose. Every election, people lose and people win. This is the way elections happen. But it is, of course, unsettling. Not so much that Trump lost, that he's been the president for 4 years, but the fact that almost half of the country voted for him. And so many people in the Republican Party support him regardless of what he says or does. But one has to remain hopeful that things will not get worse.
Ci puoi spiegare qualcosa di questa GIF?
Yes, this is a character played by Marla Maples, the second wife of Donald Trump. And I always thought that during the election campaign, it would be a good thing, a useful thing to put on Twitter. I thought maybe it would be popular, but I don't know how to do this. I'm not on Twitter and I don't know how to generate these things. And now it's all moot since the election's over, so we don't need this anymore.
Ok. Comunque, sei uno dei registi più importanti del cinema indipendente americano degli ultimi decenni. Puoi dirci qualcosa proprio sulla situazione attuale del cinema indipendente e se ci suggerisci anche qualche giovane autore da tenere in considerazione?
I liked in Italy Happy as Lazzaro very much. And of course, Pavel Pavlovsky's work. He did Cold War and Ida. But right now, the problem with independent cinema in the United States and probably elsewhere, I would imagine, is that the only things that are getting financed are those that are endorsed by big studios, such as Netflix and Amazon, HBO. And because movies, the independent cinema right now is in trouble, is somewhat stymied by the pandemic because the cost of production increases 15 to 30% because of all the protocols required as a result of COVID. Consequently, those films, the independent voices that traditionally would find financing, are unable to. And only those works that have much bigger marketing appeal are getting money.
Okay. Very clear, thank you. Quali sono i registi che ti hanno maggiormente influenzato?
Which directors? It's funny. I was thinking back. I never talked about. There's certain people I've always regretted never remembering to mention, but it's not a director. But there's a graphic novelist or cartoonist that I discovered 40 years ago, and had a big impact on me. And her name is Linda Barry. She had a big impact. A lot of writers, it's funny. I'm shaped by a lot of things, not just cinema. But I think one of the movies, looking back a couple of years here, a movie that I thought was really quite wonderful was David Lowery's Ghost Story. And I enjoyed P.T. Anderson's Phantom Thread. It's hard to know. I don't know exactly which ones have influenced me. I know in the writing of the scripts that I have finished that I'm hoping to make, it goes back more to sort of older classic Hollywood rather than anything particularly current.
Ora rivediamo una sequenza di Dark Horse, un film bellissimo, purtroppo poco visto, che sappiamo ti sta molto a cuore, e terremo l'audio della clip un po' basso così che tu possa commentarla mentre la proiettiamo.
I can tell you just the genesis of the film was I really wanted to do a boy meets girl story. And this is what came of it. It's a boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy finds girl again. And I liked the idea of such two, on certain sense, such different kinds of characters, and the possibility of how such different people could come together. And I think that's what happens in this scene. Both of them middle-aged at this point, both of them living with their parents in their childhood bedrooms, both of them unable to somehow make their way in the world at large. The character of of Abe, this guy here, was actually in part also inspired by an Italian story that I read about, I think they call it like a bombolino, I forget the word, but about, he was a young man who had graduated law school, and he was living with his parents, and I think he sued his parents because he couldn't get a good job after finishing law school. This was a story about 20 years ago. I don't know if it's familiar to you at this point. But I did love the idea of the Italian young man suing his parents. And I think this had an impact on the shaping of this story here.
Can you tell us something about the title, Dark Horse, because in Italy it's not very clear.
Yeah, no, it's an idiom that describes someone who's an unlikely person to win and succeed in life, or it could be. They often will describe someone running for president as a dark horse candidate. That would mean he's the underdog, the one that's unlikely to win. Now, the dark horse may win or may not win, but it certainly characterizes someone as the unlikelier, the underdog.
Perfect, thank you. Ora vediamo una galleria di immagini, se puoi commentarle dicendo cosa ti viene in mente vedendole.
It's a psychology test, you know?
Yeah, it's a psychology test. It's very difficult, this one.
Well, well, obviously this is Phil Hoffman when he was younger. I guess that's about how he looked when I met him. And it was really a very beautiful kind of collaboration we had. he was one of the few actors I did stay friends with beyond the completion of the picture. And it's a loss, a terrible loss. I had always assumed in some sense that we would work again. But that's wasn't in the cards.
Okay, second still.
Heather Matarazzo played Dawn Wiener, and she had a gift as a child, as an actress, that made it very easy for me to direct her. I really had very little that I have to say to modify her performance. You know, it was really just came to a little bit less, a little bit more. I mean, because she had an instinctive grasp, understanding of the character.
Perfect.
Yes, this is Greta Gerwig reprising the role of Dawn Wiener in the movie Wiener Dog. I wanted someone to. First of all, I love to recast actors in the same roles and see what new colors and shades appear. Greta she was a total joy to work with, and has a natural kind of vulnerability that was critical for this section of the film. And what is really perhaps my most romantic piece of anything I've done is the way this particular story ends in Wiener Dog. Thank you. This is palindromes.
Yes.
And we had the biggest challenge, I think, of the film really was we had to create Kansas in New York, and finding places that could pass for the flatness of Kansas. And when we found this house, it almost looked like God had stuck this like Lego house down in the middle of nowhere. And and in fact, it was owned by a family of Christians. And so it was, that was our great gift, finding that location. And it was, in fact, I'm in the middle of trying to it takes years. It's so complicated. I'm trying to see if I can get this movie restored. I hadn't thought about it when I made it, but we're working on that.
It's perfect. Thank you very much. Voglio ringraziare tantissimo Todd Solondz per essere stato con noi, davvero è stato un grandissimo piacere e ti auguriamo il meglio per i tuoi prossimi progetti e speriamo di rivederti poi anche ai nostri prossimi festival e di rivederci magari a Venezia. Grazie mille a Todd Solondz. From you.
Let's hope I can get one of my movies made sooner than later, and then we'll get to see each other in person again.
Great. Thank you very much. We are very, very grateful. All the journalists of LongTake. We are a very big group. Thank you from all of us.
My pleasure. Okay.
Thank you.
It's from mi cuore a tutti cuore. Okay.
Thank you. Grazie mille.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Todd.
Grazie. Okay.
Bye bye.